Well, I'm wondering if we have started yet because mine hasn't said live yet.
Yeah, mine says live.
Mine says live.
Okay, so maybe we're live and we just don't know it. Usually mine pops up live first. So anyway, welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ. And here we are again on a Saturday night having a lot of fun. And we were all sitting around chatting just before the show started. And usually mine pops up at the bottom down there and says live first. And I was waiting. They were all going, well, mine says live. Mine says live. Well, I guess we're live. So we're live and welcome to the show. We are having a good time. And by the way, I just want somebody who is out there on the panel to notice something that is sitting like right here.
Oh, I already noticed that. I was going to go get mine. I was like, where's mine at?
Yeah, it's sitting right there. So
I hate you both right now. I just want that known. Both of you, I hate you. And Missy.
With all the stories.
We're having some
anger coming from Ken Moon.
Tonight, Zach's on, and we're going to talk about his Teardrop trailer build. And if you're wondering why I'm stuttering, it's because we were talking about it before. I have a lot of back problems, and I tweaked my back on a Friday afternoon, helping my daughter put we put a new submergible pump in. I took some pain medication this afternoon, and I am not feeling bad at all. Let me explain to you. My wife actually woke me up to come do the show because I was nodding off. I was feeling no pain. So if you're wondering why that's happening, that's the reason. I took a pain pill this afternoon. I have a lot of problems with my back throughout the years. I was working with the fire department and doing a paramedic one. We lifted a bunch of 300-pound patients, and it really torqued my back up. So I've had a lot of problems over the years. But anyway, and my computer over here shows that it's got this little round circle that shows where we might be on live, but it's not producing. So I have no idea if we're producing or not, but I will tell you who that I do see out there. Donna's Wood Art, Ken McCrory, Inspired Woodworks, Michelle Marcoux, Dave Hart, Leo Steger, Bob Lee is out there, all in the chat. So that's great to have y'all. And before we get started, let me talk about a couple of things, and I just have a couple of announcements. One of them is Whirligig Wars. Whirligig is where you build a whirligig, and if you don't know what a whirligig is, just type into your Google search whirligig. It's kind of like a windmill type of thing where the I don't even have it in here because I had it in my office when I did the Wednesday night show on Scrolling with Russ. But it's where the wind turns a thing like a windmill, and then the object over there does all kind of crazy things. You can have it as a bird or whatever. But the Whirligig Wars is actually running from July 1st to July 31st. So if you're interested in looking at whirligigs and how to build a whirligig and want to enter the contest, go to www.simplywoodencreations.com, and across there, go over to challenges, go down to the Whirligig Wars, and over to the 2018 Whirligig Wars, and you'll find out all the information you need to know to enter Whirligig Wars and get involved. It's really a great, and a lot of people don't understand that the scroll saw is actually one of the best and absolutely best tools for creating a whirligig. So if you own a scroll saw, you're already like 70-80% into the challenge and being able to complete it, because they're excellent for building all those intricate parts for making the whirligig. Then my other sponsors, or all my sponsors, are Devobel Technologies for web design, development, hosting. Visit devobel.com. FastCap, innovative products for the professional woodworker. Go to fastcap.com. Rockler, 60 years in woodworking. Create with confidence. Visit rockler.com. Bearwood Supply Company. Go your best choice for hard to find woodworking supplies. Go to bearwood.com. Klingspor, the sanding specialist, woodworkingshop.com. And trust me, they have a lot more on their shop over there at woodworkingshop.com than just sandpaper. They have all kind of labels and everything else. And then Seiko, the scroll saw specialist, seiko.com. But I would really like for all y'all out there to think about the Whirligig Wars. It is really an awesome thing. We got a lot of great prizes already. They're just kind of like floating in, so I've been trying to keep them up there on the website. And I tell you what, let's just take one moment and we will go over. Let me see if I've got this set up. If you will give me just 1 second. I know you're looking at me going like there's nothing going on the screen. Well, I'm getting it set up ahead of time so that when I screen share, you will actually be able to see what I'm showing you. All right, guys, let me know whenever you can see my screen.
Yep, we see it.
Okay. So this is, you come along over here to the top bar over to challenges, come down here to Whirligig Wars and 2018 Whirligig Wars, and there you have it. Rules are 1 entry per YouTube channel, maximum of 2 entries. Materials, the sky's the limit. You can use Lexan, you can use steel, you can use, I don't care what you make the Whirligig out of. The sky's the limit. Must be built by you and not purchased. You need to make a 2-minute video of your Whirligig in motion. I want to see it in action, you know, and I like to see it in action by the wind outside, which really makes me know that it's being powered by the wind. But I understand that there can be times whenever you can't have that wind or can't have the perfect weather capabilities or whatever. So you could actually use a fan, but try as much as you can to do a video that shows it's actually in motion. Upload your video to your YouTube channel. You must be subscribed to Simply Wooden Creations on YouTube. And then send me an email to contest@simplywoodencreations.com. Subject line must contain, the body email must be your entry video, your name, address, phone number, and your email must be received by midnight, July 31st, 2018, in order to be entered. And you're asked to provide any other information that you can. And trust me, I'm not going to share this with anybody. So, you know, if you give me your name, address, and phone number, I'm not going to share it with anybody. So I'll be the only one that does it. Right now, our sponsors, and I've got 3 or 4 more, I just haven't had time to put them up here, are Klingspor and Jack Clamp. And I've got BP Way. I know Izzy Swan is already trying to get back over here. Izzy Swan, BP Way, Fast Cap. They've all come on board. I just haven't had time to get their information up there. So, yeah, we're going to have some really great prizes. And it's really fun. I mean, Whirligigs are really pretty cool. So, it's like a wind-powered windmill, or so to speak. So just type it in. You'll understand what I'm saying. All right, so let's go. Paul's over there laughing at me. Let's go down the road, and we'll let everybody introduce themselves. And Zach, you're going to be last because you're the guest, and we're going to be talking about your Teardrop trailer. Why won't I say Taylor every time? And so, and I'm going to get her name right. It's not Donna. It's not Shelly. It's none other than Brenda G.
There you go, Russ. Yes, this is Brenda G of Brenda G's Designs. And you will find me every place on the internet as Brenda G's Designs, whether it is on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Patreon, Etsy, or Reddit is my latest one. Every place is Brenda G's Designs. I'm the eclectic crafter. I take easy crafts and make them look difficult.
Great to have you. And then Mr. Chris Ahern.
Hey guys, Chris here at the Old Cranky Workshop. Do a little bit of everything from small furniture to toys. Playing with the lathe a lot lately. You can find me on YouTube and Facebook. That's about it right now.
Great. Jim Bashirs.
Hi, Jim Bashirs with a YouTube channel called Driveway Workshop. First of all, I really want to thank Zach a lot for getting Paul, Al, and I off the hook for a 3D printer show. That was really nice of you to do this tonight.
Hey.
And I also want to know if I have to have my man crafting mug in the background someplace just to be on the show tonight. Other than that, looking forward to talking to Zach, and thanks for having me on.
Cool. Man crafting. Why would you have a man crafting mug? Who the heck is that for man crafting?
I don't know who it would be.
I'm just teasing because you're talking about Chad Grossclogs, I think is his name. Is it you shaking your head, but you're not seeing?
Sorry, I didn't. I couldn't grab my mouse fast enough here.
Yeah. No, he's a good guy. I've had him on the show, and his mugs are actually awesome because I think that Southern woodworking, I think that actually was made by him, and I think he brought it to me in Atlanta this year. So
You're just pushing my buttons, Russ. Keep pushing.
I have no idea who the Southern woodworking thing is. You know, it's like I don't have any idea who this is. So,
Well, actually, it's special.
yep. So, anyways, so John Schaffner.
Good evening, everybody. Here's John Schaffner from Toasty, Central New York. You can find me on Facebook under my name and my little side channel on YouTube under my name. And I'm just sweating up a storm here tonight. It's 87 degrees at 8:13 in the evening.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Yeah, it's been really hot around here lately, too. And then Mr. Ken.
Ken Moon from Moon Pie Creations. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, Twitter, all under Ken Moon, or type in Moon Pie Creations.
Great. Ken, you're just not loved as much as Santa Claus. I mean, what?
No, never am.
Oh. And then Al Forte from Odessa Woodworking.
Hey, thanks for having Russ. Al Forte, Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop on YouTube, Odessa Woodworking on Facebook, and Kilroy 79763 on Twitch. If you just look for Kilroy 79763, you'll find me everywhere. Instagram, it flops back to YouTube at Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop.
If you could change that to Kilroy at 867-5309, it'd been a heck of a lot.
867-5309.
Daddy, you got my number. See, that would have rhymed a whole lot better.
I thought we agreed no singing.
Yep. And then Paul from Paul's Messy Woodshop.
Workshop.
Workshop.
But is it as messy as mine, Paul?
Huh?
It can't be as messy as mine.
You only see what the camera wants you to see.
Oh.
I'm Paul Corliss from Paul's Messy Workshop. That's Paul's Messy Workshop on YouTube, Instagram, and .com. And I appreciate your having me on here, Russ. And Alan, Jim, and I we were primed and ready to go. Right, Al?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry, but my wife is the one that's in control of all this stuff. And when you say that, I originally had not planned on having a show for tonight. And
that doesn't surprise me.
No, the reason being is because it's my wife's birthday and we had plans on going off for the weekend. Well, to make a long story short, our plans got canceled, not because of us. It's something else came up or somebody didn't follow through. And so we're home for the weekend. We're having a great time, though. I took her out last night. We went to Carrabba's. She loves Carrabba's. I love Carrabba's. Oh, man, their food is just absolutely fantastic. So we went out to dinner tonight. We've done some things today. So, you know, everything's going good, and she's having a nice weekend and a happy birthday. So, and that's what I originally told them. So I kind of like actually contacted Zach at the last minute, but that's all right because Zach canceled on me twice.
That's true. I owe you.
So anyway, so Zach said, yeah, he's going to come over and do the show tonight. And here he is, Zach Manring from Southern Ginger.
Southern Ginger Workshop. Yep, you got it.
So, tell us about Southern Ginger and you and everything. What your shop?
Oh man, there's just so much. How much time do you have?
Oh, we got we don't. My show runs until midnight. So
no, I'm just giving you a hard time. Yeah. So Southern Ginger Workshop. I started that about 3 years ago. You can find me. I mean, the easiest way to find me is just go to southernginger.com, and then you can find all the social media from there. But so Southern Ginger Workshop's on all those things, except for Patreon, because I just removed myself from Patreon. So
you know, I was a little surprised about that, and I'd really like for you to elaborate about that, because I've been thinking for years about doing the Patreon. And when you removed yourself from Patreon, and I read that what you posted about it, it hit home to me. And so, so why did you do that? And just elaborate on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a personal preference, I think. I started to just simplify my everything that's out there. Patreon is just another one of those social media things that I have to keep up to date. And it was and I was slacking on it, and I just felt like it was not doing anything. And of course, it also showed in the Patreons itself. I mean, I had it up there for almost a year and a half, and I was making $2 a month off of it. So it was kind of like, okay, well, is it really worth it in the end? I don't know. It was just a lot of extra work for me. So I looked at, I'm actually going to get rid of my Etsy as well. And I'm going to pull all that stuff back into my my homepage. So you'll be able to buy stuff directly from my homepage. You'll be able to, and I'm actually working on my new website as we speak. It should go live hopefully in about a week. So everything will be centrally hubbed on the website from here on out. So I'll be able to kind of get rid of some of that other stuff. I'll also get rid of my domain subscriber and all that stuff. So just making everything more simple.
Right. You posted a sneak peek to your new website, and I got to look at it. I want to tell you, that's fantastic. It really looks good, my friend.
Thank you.
It really looks good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I liked it. I went over there immediately when you posted that and looked at it, and I'm like, wow, that's really awesome.
Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time on it, and then also had to redo my logo a couple times. I mean, I still have the Angry Ginger logo, the face, but one of the recommendations was I still had Southern Ginger Workshop somewhere in there. So I had to kind of mess around with that a little bit. So that was kind of the latest.
Yeah. Really great, my friend. They're really great. So you got this Teardrop trailer. I hope we're going to be able to see it tonight.
Possibly. It's outside. I don't have much light left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. So, but the biggest thing about it was we're going to talk about your build and what brought you around to wanting to build the Teardrop trailer.
Sure.
And then how you got into it and what's been going on about it. So I got the opportunity to see it. This is twice you brought it to Atlanta, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the original Teardrop trailer. That was the wooden one. That's a 4x8. And that was the first one that I built based on a Harbor Freight trailer that I bought off of Craigslist. And just really put my heart and passion into that one. And it's still sitting upstairs in my garage. I don't let it sit in the rain or anything. And once I was done that one, or 95% done that one, I wanted the next big project, because I like those kind of longer projects and I like the smaller projects. So I usually try to break up my YouTube channel in a sense where you have the main course, which is the big project, and then you have appetizers. So every other week I'll have like an appetizer, like a little simple, like here's a sign I made, or a birdhouse or something along those lines. You know, those are like 4 to 6 hour projects where then I have the big, you know, the main one, which is the teardrop build. And I stumbled upon this frame. If you guys have watched the first 3 or 4 episodes on this one, I stumbled upon the frame in Chattanooga. I actually, a guy started it about 6 years ago. And his wife was just like, it's time to get this out of our garage. So I went up there and spoke with him, and we kind of, you know, wheeled and dealed back and forth, and I drove home with the trailer. So
when you say the frame, is this still a single axle?
It is a single axle, but this one actually is axle-less. This one is, so the reason why I'm building the next one is it's bigger. It's so the original one was a 4x8. This one's a 5x10 by 5 foot tall. And it's also built for off-roading. So it's got an independent suspension already built into it. It's running, it's got electric brakes already on board, and also it's running Toyota axles, or I'm sorry, Toyota hubs. It's got 18 gallons of water on board, and it's all in the belly of the frame already. That was built when I bought it from the guy. And then I've taken it from there and have done quite a bit of modifications to what he's already started. But this one's built for off-roading is kind of the whole idea. I have a 4Runner that's lifted and a lot of work done to it. And I wanted the ability to drive my teardrop trailer off-road. So that's kind of where this started.
When you say a lot of extras, so I understand what you're saying. It doesn't actually have an axle,
right?
Per se, it has it's built into the axle is actually built in the frame.
No, it's a bolt-on. It's 2 members. I think it's Tiburon 2500 HDs. If you guys in the chat room know what that is, it's just basically a urethane bushing that it rides on, and it's got a lever, you know, just a little cantilever kind of action on it. And then when you buy them, you can choose what kind of hub pattern that you want. And in this case, I have a Toyota truck, so it was actually perfect that it was already on Toyota axle or Toyota hubs, so that if I get a flat or something like that, I could actually use the one that's on my truck for the trailer.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. That's pretty cool. So.
Yeah, and this one will handle up to 35-inch tires, so that was another kind of big thing for me as well.
How many pounds will this trailer carry compared to your old one?
I'm a lot more. I don't know the specific number at this point. This one's built currently on 2,500 pound bushings, but it can be upgraded to 3,500 if I need to.
Yeah, and I know your last one that I saw that you had in Atlanta, I think that was only probably those trailers only probably weighted for maybe 2,500 pounds maximum.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. And I mean, it's currently around 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So.
Got any questions for Zach out there? Anybody on the panel have any questions?
Yeah, I'd like to ask him how he gets a trailer like that licensed once it's complete.
Yeah, so locally, I just, on the last one, I just got the sheriff. I actually go to a local cafe, and he's always there. And I just asked him one day after we were eating breakfast to come over and inspect my trailer for me, and he did. So and he took care of it, and I went down and got the license for it, or the license plate for it. I mean, the main thing is that, you know, it's got lights and turn signals, and it's got a light for the license plate. That's really the main thing. Certain states are different, but here in Georgia, that's all you need.
Yeah, here in Florida, I know for a fact if you want to build what you call a homemade trailer, then what you do is you can actually submit receipts from a junkyard or a steel mill where you bought the materials from, and take them in there and say, hey, I bought all this stuff and I built a trailer and I need to get it registered and a tag for it. And it's really, really not that hard, and it's a very simple process for getting that. In the state of Florida, trailers do not have titles like vehicles.
Sure.
It's just the registration. So trust me, I know that because I built 2 trailers in my life.
Nice.
And registered both of them. So
Hey,
I
Zach,
just saw. Go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
hey, Zach, I noticed in one of your videos that you cut out all the framing, the metal framing for the cabinets in the back. Was that so you could design your own, or was that more for a weight savings?
I guess it's a little bit of both. When I got the frame, the guy had the 1x1 steel on the inside of the trailer as like cabinetry, and I went back and forth. I talked to a lot of folks, even Jimmy DiResta. I was asking him. I was like, I'm not sure how to mix this with wood and still make it look good and be functional, except for adding tabs everywhere and then having like, just pieces of plywood on the backside. So in the end, I'm sorry, on top of that, I was trying to find a refrigerator for this teardrop. So the last one had a cooler. This one I wanted to go all out and actually put a refrigerator in there as well, and we'll go into that just in a little bit. But because of that, because of the stove that I wanted and the sink I wanted, I just really had to start over. I was like, this is just too complicated to work within what's already there. So I just ripped it out. In doing so, I'll just do it all in plywood. Do it in 3/4 inch plywood and some pocket holes. So just build cabinets like you normally would.
Right.
You have plans to replace the pole you had to take off of your
Ken, we can't hear you.
Yes, I have plans to replace it as soon as somebody shows up in my house and replaces it for me.
I couldn't hear a word he said.
Yes. So in one of my videos, I couldn't get the trailer underneath my deck. So, and I was only about 2 hours away from flying out on vacation. So the only thing I could think of at the moment was to cut the pole out because I wasn't about to bring it back upstairs. And the other reason for this is I just put down fresh sod in my house. So I didn't want to ruin the sod. So at this point I was like, okay, I'm going to cut the pole out and I'm going to pull the trailer underneath. And that's what I did. So,
okay.
That's dedication right there.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I don't even have a way of getting it out. I can't go out the same way. So that's going to be a wonderful video in the end.
You're talking about the first one that's upstairs?
No, the one that's upstairs is in the garage. The one that's downstairs, which is where my current one is, I can't pull it out.
You can take it apart and reassemble it.
What's that? Sorry.
You can take it apart and reassemble it.
Yeah, no, I think I have some ideas on how I'm going to get it out, but it's going to be a quite dramatic episode.
Yeah, it looked like it was kind of a tight fit to get it in there.
Yeah, well, it was. I had to cut a pole out.
Okay. Now, come on. Why in the heck would you put something in there that you had to take a pole out to put it in, and now you can't figure out how the hell to get it out?
Well, because I wanted it close to the shop, and that's the only way I can get it close to the shop is to put it underneath the deck. And there you go. Because I'm not gonna like run up and my house is downhill, so I don't want to run up and down the hill just to work on it. So I brought it downstairs to work on it, and I figured this project is going to be, I don't know, probably a year or so in the making. So I'm not gonna have that sitting upstairs in the weather while it's So I'd rather have it here underneath the deck where it's protected.
What was it? What series was it where the guy built the boat in the basement?
Well, there's a guy that built a Lamborghini in the basement, and he had to cut the wall out of the basement to pull it out.
Yeah, there was it's a popular series.
NCIS.
NCIS, yes. Thank you. And he built the boat in the basement and had to tear out the whole end of the house or the whole wall or whatever to get the boat out before it was all over with. So
that's dedication. I mean, I'm dedicated to getting this done. So it is what it is.
I understand. It's just kind of like a little, I don't know. I just find it a little strange, So I was going to build something. My next door neighbor, in all sincerity, he built a camper. Sliding camper for the back of a pickup truck, actually was for a 1-ton pickup truck, so it was very large. And when he built it in there, he took into consideration the height of the door, and he left 1 inch clearance. 1 inch, I kid you not, clearance to pull that thing out. And so the day that he had finished it and got it all ready, is I was over there helping him, and he hooked up to it and just to his truck, and he had little rollers out there and everything ready, and just slowly pulled it out inch by inch to make sure that it was all right. And I slid it right out onto his driveway, so to speak, and then we jacked it up into the air with jacks and slid it in the back of his truck, and it was like perfect. And I was like, when he first started building, I thought he was crazy. I was like, you're an idiot for doing this, you know. But yeah, he slid it right out, and he obviously knew what he was doing.
Yeah, if you saw the first episode, you'll see that it wouldn't fit in my garage either. I had to get kind of clever with that one to get it to fit in the garage.
Right.
Zach, the first trailer you built, how much of that did you actually get done? I remember a couple of years ago in Atlanta, I kind of saw it parked there in the expo center. Did you get that one completely done? Or
yeah, it's done. The only thing that's left is I got to build a little plate that goes behind the electrical box, just so that it makes it look more finished. That's the only thing I have left.
I think it was pretty well finished in Atlanta, wasn't it, this year?
Yeah, this year it was. Yeah, last year it was, maybe 50%.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, this new one it's much bigger. It will hold a queen size bed. It's got the water on board. I'm gonna have a refrigerator, which I just picked up a refrigerator from Norcold, which is an actual refrigerator for RV. You can't just go down to the store and buy like a dorm room one, because it's going to be shaking and rattling, in the back, and you need something that can handle those vibrations. I just got a sink from Thetford. It's like a sink. If you saw my Instagram, it's like a sink, cutting board, and wash bin all in one, which is pretty slick. And then I also, behind me, I can turn it just a little bit. Behind me here is the stove that I've still in the box. But what I worked on today is this is going to be the slide out that will be for the stove. So this thing will slide out from the right side of the Teardrop trailer, and this will have a 2-burner stove hooked up to the propane tank, and then go from there. So that is 36 inches slide out. I have full extension 250-pound sliders for it, and those things will that's what will happen hopefully soon.
When you're all done and said and it's on the road moving, what do you think your price point is? What do you think you spent altogether?
What I spent, or like just materials?
Well, yeah, materials, not counting labor.
Materials, I'm probably going to be about 10 to 12 grand into it.
No, I saw it in Atlanta. I took a bunch of pictures, and on the way home, my wife just said one word: no. So.
I'm sorry. What was that? Sorry, I missed it.
On the way home, after taking pictures of yours from Atlanta, my wife had one word for me, and that was no. There's enough projects going on around here that aren't done.
So the first one you guys saw in Atlanta, the 4x8, that one's around $3,500 to $4,000 in materials.
Oh wow, not bad.
But that's because I upgraded the axle, I upgraded the wheels, the window. So when you go to build a trailer, the biggest thing that I found is the axles, the wheels, and the doors are your most expensive things to pay. Now, so my last ones were $650 for the two doors. One of the things that I've learned is never build your own door when you try to build a teardrop trailer. It's just such a headache to deal with all the water damages and leaking and that kind of stuff. So the second one that I'm building, I wanted to do buy doors as well. But the original doors were only about, I want to say 36 inches tall. And this one, is 5 feet tall. So 36 inches it was too small for the opening. So I ordered custom doors for that. And there's only two companies that I found that will do custom doors. One of them uses the other company for the custom door. So you pretty much, it's kind of like you're down to, I think it's called Challenger Doors is the main company that makes these doors. And you cannot call them directly. I have tried every way possible to get a hold of them. I've emailed them. I've gone on LinkedIn. I found a guy that works there. I've tried everything I can to get to Challenger Doors, and I couldn't get a hold of anybody. So I went through Vintage Technologies, Mr. Bear over there, Frank Bear. I worked with him on the last build, so he already knows me. I have a good rapport with him. So the new doors that just came in recently were $1,350. But they are that's your biggest expense, right? That's one of your biggest expenses.
Yeah.
But I wanted them to be 4 foot by 29.5 inches wide. Like I wanted them to be exact, and that's what you pay for, when you get them exact. So
that's some expensive doors.
Yeah, I mean the thing of when you start getting into RVing, things are not cheap. That's and that's so the first one I didn't really cut corners on craftsmanship, but I did cut a little bit corners on the actual like fan and the kind of stuff that I didn't think I would need. So this time around I'm not cutting corners, and it's going to take me longer because of it, but I'm not cutting corners. I'm going to have AC, I'm going to have propane on board, I'm going to have solar power and all that kind of stuff on board. So those things all add up.
Right.
Yeah.
Even that fridge, that Norcold fridge I just ordered, that was $1,000 just for the fridge.
Right. No, it's anytime you're right. RV, anything RV is not cheap, but I think you touched base on that earlier. Anything RV also is designed to take the movement, the stress of going up and down the road and, being bounced around. Most of your RV refrigerators can run off of 2-type power.
Three.
Either run off of propane or electric.
Right. So. Yeah. So this one will run off of 3. You got 12 volt, 120, 240, or propane.
Yeah. See? So that's not a cheap.
Yeah.
When you're talking about, it's not just your typical refrigerator that you go out and you buy for $100 at Walmart and bring it in and stick it in your shop and put your beer in it.
Right.
That's not the same fridge.
Well, the other thing that's nice about having one that runs the propane is before you set off to camp, you can start it up with propane and be driving down the road cooling the stuff that's in your refrigerator before you get to the campsite. Once you get a campsite, you plug it into the 110 or the 30 amp circuit, and now you don't have to run propane anymore.
Right.
How well do those things work, though?
They work great.
Yeah, they
do.
do.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a 28-foot RV trailer on a gooseneck, and we used to go camping in or RVing in it, and I got to tell this story real quick. I never will forget because we were at Daytona, the Daytona 500. Actually, it wasn't the Daytona 500. It was a Pepsi 400, and I went to light it was the hot water heater, which also I don't remember what it controlled or whatever. But anyway, I went to light the hot water heater. Well, I couldn't get it to light. So I took me a piece of paper towel,
stop reel,
and I rolled it really long, and I lit the end of it, and I shoved it down through that tube, and I pushed the button and sit there for a second to see if I could get it to light, because it was a combination of the refrigerator, hot water heater. I don't remember whatever this thing controlled, but anyway, when I shoved that little paper towel down in that tube, my sons and my son-in-law was standing behind me, and it finally made contact with the propane. I don't know what was not igniting, but anyway, the propane shot out from that tube and hit me in the face. And,
oh man!
Is that the place they told you not to come back?
Yeah. Needless to say, I had no eyebrows that weekend. It set them on fire.
Dang! Did you have a beard then?
No, I didn't have the beard then. I had the mustache. It's my mustache, but it totally
he did when he got there anyway.
Yeah, they all were. At first, they were all like, "Oh my God, you're all right." They were grabbing me and pulling me back away, and I was laughing because I knew I was all right. As soon as I could see the flames coming towards me. And I just kind of like closed my eyes and turned my head. But anyway, so they were all, "You're all right." And I said, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. And they all looked down at me and they started laughing because it had seared my eyebrows. Yeah, they were like, "Don't do that again." But guess what? We had hot water that weekend. So
yeah, I don't know if I'll have hot water on board on this one, but I definitely will have water on board. So
yeah,
I'll have a sink.
You said you had 18 gallons in the frame.
Yeah.
Are they bladders or?
Yeah, it's two 9-gallon bladders, or no, 2 9-gallon reservoirs.
Yeah.
One for gray water, one for black water, I guess, or clean water.
Gotcha.
Not black water, clean water.
Clean water.
Yeah, you wouldn't be doing it for black water.
It's called gray. Yeah, it's called gray water.
Gray water.
Gray
yeah.
water is anything out of a kitchen sink or a bathroom sink or anything like that. That's gray water.
But again, once you go to an actual RV campsite, you can hook all that up into their either their sewage bin or even the water hose. Hook the water hose up to it and that kind of stuff. So all that stuff is I've been thinking through, and it takes a long time to kind of figure this all out as I go. Part of the reason why I cut the center section out of it, because I was like, this is just too much of a headache. That rear section of this thing, it's got a 45-degree departure angle, and the reason for that is for off-roading. When you go off-roading, you get into a ditch, you actually, when it goes to depart out of a ditch, you need to have that 45-degree angle cut out of it. If not, you're just going to bottom out.
Right.
But the problem with that is it makes it very hard to build a door for that. So I'm actually looking at doing a custom door just for the top portion of it, not the 45. So that whole 45 section will be one solid panel, and then I'll have slide out from the side instead of actually using that space. So that's kind of my thought right now for that area.
I'm looking out there.
Yeah, I didn't know if there's any questions there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking over to see if we have any questions out there.
The current frame is all done with 2x2 inch steel. The floor is aluminum. I'll probably cover the floor with plywood again, just to make it double stiff, because the aluminum is a little bit flexible. I see Jimbo said something about 1/2-inch plywood. For his friend used 1/2-inch plywood and aluminum. So my last teardrop was the walls were just 3/4-inch plywood with 040 aluminum on the outside. This one is going to be, because of the steel frame being 2x2, they will be insulated with foam insulation, and the inside will be 1/8-inch plywood up into the doors, and then I'm going to go to 3/4-inch plywood. So if you guys have any ideas on how to marry those two together, I was thinking some type of trim piece, but if you guys have any ideas, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And then the outside is going to have 1/8-inch plywood as well with 040 aluminum when it's all said and done. And the reason for that is the seals in the window seal 2 2¼ inches. So if I have 2-inch steel tubing, I don't have much. I have 1/4 inch to work with to still use the door frame and the window frame. So I'm trying to do the best I can to use up all that space. So
do you have any pictures that you could pull up?
Yeah, I can put up. I mean, I can pull up on my.
You know how to share?
On my Instagram, I guess. I have some pictures on my Instagram.
I posted the video where you were talking about, I believe, the doors, where you were putting the custom doors for the Teardrop trailer on there. But
oh, cool.
I said, do you know how to screen share though?
Yeah, I can screen share. Do I have pictures of the doors in?
Yeah, the doors themselves. Do you have pictures of those on?
Yeah, on my Instagram. Here, I'll share my screen for you guys, and let me know once you see that.
Yep, we got it.
All right, so I'm going to go back a little bit. I post a lot, so sorry about that. Actually, here's the doors right here. So the outside is black, which I'll probably use. It's actually just a what do you call it? A clean flat surface. So I'll probably end up using some type of vinyl in the end for that. and the inside's white, but it's textured. So it's I guess it's good for like fingerprints and that kind of stuff. You can wipe that kind of stuff off. But those are the doors there. And then I believe a couple of days later, yeah, here's what it mocked up on the one side. I didn't take both doors out. I only took out the one door to mock up. But that's what the door looks like on that side, and then there will be another door on the other side. You also see up here, there's a stargazer window. That's something that I kind of missed out on the last one, is having a window that you can, when you're sleeping, your head is down, towards the front of the trailer. So when you're sleeping on your pillows, you can look straight up and you can see the stars through that window, and it's already pre-tinted and everything.
Or you can see the bear.
Or the bear.
Yeah, the 300-pound bear that's staring down at you, thinking that you.
I mean that's fine. It's strong enough to handle them, so I'm not too worried about it. So that's the doors installed, and then I thought I had one more. Maybe it's a little bit older. Let me see here. Man, I got a lot of pictures.
Hey, Russ, I was looking for the picture. I think you hit on something. A bear and a southern ginger. Combat to death.
Do what?
Show that your old teardrop trailer?
That's my original teardrop trailer.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
That one was built on a Harbor Freight frame. That's a 4x8 by 4 foot tall. So one of the other challenges with this other one is getting materials 5 foot by 10 foot. Like this is easy to get 4x8 sheets. Anywhere you go, you can pretty much get a 4x8, and even buying aluminum at 4x8 is pretty easy.
Right.
When you start getting into 5x10s, it makes things a lot tougher. So
we just got a new car that's got a trailer hitch on it, so it's like the first trailer hitch thing that we ever had. And I looked on Harbor Freight's website to get one of those little trailers to pull stuff back and forth from Home Depot or whatever, and they don't even have them on their website anymore. Did they stop making them? Or
they may have, to be honest with you.
Or what?
Check Northern Tool too. Northern makes them.
They were at I was at Harbor Freight last week, and they still have them.
Yeah, they still have them.
Check with Tractor Supply if you have a Tractor Supply in your area.
Yeah,
I just Googled their website and I see them there.
Do you? Okay.
Here's where I cut out the pole that we talked about earlier to get it to fit. And then I think that's.
Oh, I want to see the old one. Go back up a little bit. I want to see the old one, the back of the old. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
That's when I went and got the graphics done on it.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. What's really cool about this is that's vinyl that's printed on. It's white vinyl that's printed on gray, and then the orange. That's all printed color because they can get the exact color that I wanted. And then they go back and they cut it all out.
Right.
Guys, I take that back. I came up with a search result for trailers, but not Harbor Freight. They don't have them on the Harbor Freight website.
Oh, they don't?
No, they don't. Sorry.
Thanks, Al. I thought I was going nuts or something.
Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, here we go. Here's a side-by-side for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So this one just barely fit in the garage. I had to take the wheels off, you see.
No. When you say teardrop, I look at the old one and it has that nice slope, and this one doesn't have that. So, yeah,
it's a teardrop style, I guess. They do have square body teardrops, but to be honest with you, the rounded shape is easier than the square shape.
I was gonna say it's easier to pull that aluminum or the top piece around.
Yeah, to actually bend the trim and building the top roof, it's easier when it's curved than it is going to be this flat surface. I am not sure how I'm going to handle these flat surfaces yet. I don't know if I'm going to get a brake and try to bend it, or if I'm going to actually just put a piece of trim on those two seams.
Yeah. When my neighbor built his slide in, and I was telling him when I went over there and didn't work on it. When I went there and looked at it a couple of times, I noticed when we were talking about that round part, just like your teardrop, exactly like it. He was telling me, he was like, You don't understand. That's so easy to bend that thin metal around that. It's like no problem.
Yeah.
And so I did not get to go. And I told him, when you get it ready to go, call me over. I want to see you put it on there, but he didn't. And then I went back over and he had it on there. And he was describing how he did it. And I can understand that that was really easy to mold that around that.
Yeah. The trick is you can't do one trim at a time. You have to have both pieces of trim going, and you have to screw one side, then we'll go over to the other side, and then back to the original side and back and forth.
Right.
And just kind of walk it down. If not, you'll start getting ripples and stuff.
Right. Yep. Cool.
So Donna Presley is asking, you can't get that trailer out because it's too tall?
It's too wide.
Too wide.
And it'll probably be too tall.
Yeah, if you have
out of the garage.
What's that? Sorry?
She was talking about out of your garage.
So the garage, it will fit in the garage if I take the wheels off, but it won't fit once I put the fan in the roof because there's a dome to the fan.
So in other words, when you are building it, you're gonna have to figure out a way to slide it out and then put the wheels and the fan on it.
Well, it's not in the garage. It's underneath the deck now. It's got
okay.
more room underneath the deck.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's the day I bought it. I bought the frame. So this is what the frame looked like when I bought it.
Cool.
It's got a lock and roll hitch. You see this hitch on the front here. It's not a standard 2-inch ball hitch. This is a lock and roll, which will never let go, even if the trailer flips.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, the trailer has an eye in it, and then the your tongue or your trailer hitch has a locking mechanism that goes around, right? It's like a military hitch.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, these little levers will come down onto that eye.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's got a lock and roll, and then it's hard to see in this photo, but you can see that's independent suspension in the rear.
Yep.
And that's my girlfriend standing up, and you can see how much taller it is. So it's like 5'2" on the inside. And the guy that built it, he built it 5 foot wide to the inside. So that's going to make things so much harder for me to find things.
Yep.
I get what you're saying. So the outside dimension is like 3 or 4 or 5 inches more.
Yeah, it's 5'4".
Yeah.
To the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like there's so many things I'm like, man. So that's why you see me taking stuff off, and it's really just because as I think through things, it's going to make things more simple for me when I get to that step. For instance, I will be cutting these wheel wells fenders off as well, and the reason for that is they're welded directly onto the main frame, and when I go to skin this thing, I don't want to have to cut around those. So what I'll do is I'll cut them off, make myself a gusset or some type of bracket that I will be able to bolt them back onto the main frame when I'm done.
Much better. Yeah.
Right. So some of that stuff is just making things simple. And if you set out to build your own teardrop trailer, always try to make that outside skin as flush as possible.
Well, it's not only that but for leaks. I mean,
too.
if you had to go over that wheel well with the metal and then that would be a pain in the butt. Yep.
So it's just better to keep the whole outside smooth and then bolt on anything else that needs to go on the outside from there. That's at least what I've learned in my making of two.
No, I would totally agree that you would make the fenders to be bolt on to finish the trailer and then bolt the fenders on.
Right.
That would help also if later on down the road that one of the fenders got damaged, so to speak.
Yep, you could replace it.
You could actually replace that fender rather than have to worry about replacing the whole side of the trailer that got ripped off.
Okay.
Now,
David has a question. He was asking how much a trailer like this would cost if you just bought one.
So the trailer that I'm building right now is going to be about 30 to 35 grand MSRP.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not cheap. It's crazy how expensive they are for what the size they are, but the craftsmanship and work that goes into something as small is actually probably more work. than ones that are a little bit bigger.
Now, the last trailer, the old Teardrop trailer, I should say, is how
The
many times
classic.
did you actually use it?
We've been camping about maybe a dozen times in it.
And you had a great time, enjoyed
Oh yeah,
it?
we enjoy it, and we still use it. Like we're going camping, I think, in a few weeks. We're still going to be using it until this other one's ready.
Awesome.
So yeah, I still have it. I mean, like I said, it's upstairs, and I keep it in the garage. But here it is at a campsite. You know, the back is open, the rear hatch is opened. You got the refrigerator and cooking surface there.
Oh, I saw it in Atlanta this year, and I was thinking to myself, my fat ass can't crawl in there and go to sleep.
It's amazing, like how much room is actually in there. I mean, that's a double bed that's in there, and you can, you know, it's my girlfriend, myself, and the dog all sleep in there. So
I gotta have a king size bed.
Okay, well, we'll build you a 7-foot wide one then.
Yeah, it's got to be king side because yeah, my wife will tell you she needs to get away from me as much as possible.
That's awesome.
So, Patrick, for guys like me, can you leave that side door open so my feet can hang out of the end of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see Ken's talking about they're cheaper. Yeah, the bigger ones. I mean, I have a friend of mine that just bought a 33-foot with a slide out, which was only 30 grand. And I was like, yeah, I mean, but it's crazy. If you look up Teardrop trailers for off-roading, they get up there.
Yeah.
Up there.
I really, after my neighbor had built that one in his garage, and I watched him build it from day one all the way the steps through, and realized how it wasn't that hard, trust me. And everything that he bought to build it was very readily available. In other words, it wasn't hard searching for it and everything else. I had thought about building myself one, but I told him, I want one. I have a boat, and I want a big boat, and I want one that slides in, and it's only got to have two things. Number one, I don't want no kitchen or nothing. I want it all beds, all the side places to be beds, and the thing that hangs over the cab of the truck, that to be a bed, and then a bathroom. Because when you it's going to be for the guys when we go fishing, we're going to eat outside every day and every night, and when we go inside, and if you wake up during the night and it's a thunderstorm here in Florida, you got to have a place to go in and, you know, you know, relieve yourself, so to speak, so you don't have to crawl out through the rain. But other than that, beds, heat, AC, and a little potty to go in there if you need to relieve yourself.
So this one will have,
yeah. We go to hotels for that.
Well, you know, that's pretty cool, but my truck can handle the boat, and if we had a slide in, so we could go. Two or three of us could go. My boat, my truck will, my boat will handle 7 people, but we can get 5 people in my truck, so we could go off for the weekend and go, you know, fishing and camping, and have the slide in, and never have to take the slide in out, and be right there and go. There's places here in Florida where you can pull right up to your campsite and park your boat. So
yeah. No, I get it, but I got married and I got domesticated, so I like hotels now.
Well, I know my wife wouldn't. I don't think. Well, I don't know. My wife might go with me if it was just me and her. I don't think she would want to be in there with a bunch of grubby, ugly men. And then...
Exactly.
Well, this one's going to have an AC and heater in it as well. And what I've found is, you know, a lot of people do those window units, but again, back to those vibration issues, driving down the road and bouncing around. I found a company that makes, I think the company's called Climate Right, and they actually make small personal outdoor units for your dog houses. Go figure, right? But they will handle up to like 500 square feet. They have some that will go up to 500 square feet. And I'm like, well, what's cool about this is they come with an inlet and a 4-inch inlet and a exhaust. So just like you have like on your dust collection system, they have 2 hoses, you know, that will to 2 ports that are in the front of your Teardrop trailer. and then you'll have like a little crate on the front of the tongue of your trailer that you set this thing on, and then you set the 2 ports in and plug it in, and now you have AC. They do say do not drive it down the road on the trailer because of the bouncing action, but you put it in your truck, you're fine because you have the suspension in your truck to handle it.
Zach, would you consider using a horse trailer frame to build one? Because
sure,
I think the suspension is generally better on the horse trailer because
of the horses. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because the horses.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
that would be a cool one to build too with a horse trailer. Yeah, I've seen a lot of folks that will do like the front half of the horse trailer, as some type of
Oh yeah, a lot of the horses trailers come with a dressing room on the front and
okay.
And so.
Well, what was interesting is I was looking for. Have you heard of the Scamp trailers? They're kind of like an Airstream, but they're out of fiberglass.
Yep.
So they're much cheaper. So I was looking at those originally, and that's when I stumbled on this guy. I wasn't really looking per se to build another teardrop trailer, but this deal came up, and this was exactly what I wanted to build when I built the original teardrop trailer. So I just kind of was like, well, let's just do it, and that's kind of how it came down.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Becky's Texas Woodshop's out there, Inspired Woodworks.
Yeah, I see Steve's out there. Hey, Steve.
Yep.
And Patrick.
Kim McCrory. Patrick, yeah. I noticed how Patrick just subtly typed out his name into
spammer.
Yeah. That was really cool.
Are you selling the first one? Yes, I will be selling the first one once this one is built. Canton is awesome, Steve. Come by, man. Anytime. You're always invited.
Yeah, Steve Carmichael's out there. Appreciate you all watching.
Steve and I should do this Whirligig thing.
Yeah, the Whirligig Wars is going on, Steve. You need to build a Whirligig and get involved, dude, this year. Patrick, you won, or you posted, you had that one big one in 2014, I think you said. So why aren't you, are you going to enter this year into the Whirligig Wars and try to be a winner?
How many of you guys are part of the Southern Woodworkers?
I am. And I even have my.
Yep, rub it in.
There we go. There we go.
Man? Come on.
You know what? The new rule is every time he shows his cup, you got to drink.
Ah, there you go.
Southern Woodworkers mug.
Southern
Ken
Woodworkers doesn't allow us Yankees in.
Yeah, I don't know who runs that thing, but they suck.
Yeah, but Russ, are you on the Southern Woodworkers Discord channel, like me? See?
What the hell's a Discord?
That's big. See, that's big time right there.
No,
Patrick's saying summer is a busy time.
Big time is having a mug. Do you have a mug, Jim Shears?
Oh, I got one, but it's got my name on it.
Yeah.
So I'm a narcissist.
I don't think you have one of these.
There's only 3 of those, I think, in the wild. So
yeah.
But God, I will have one next time I go to Mrs.
Yep, I got a guy that'll make me one of those in a heartbeat. Your head will spin. It'll come up so fast.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's either that they're rare or just nobody wants them.
That's why there's only 3, right?
Exactly.
yeah, and you can order the Southern Woodworkers one off of southernwoodworkers.com if anybody's interested in that.
Go ahead, since you're talking about it. Tell us about Southern Woodworkers. I don't mind it.
It's only the best place to be on Facebook.
I don't mind if you just give this like plug for this. No, this whatever. Go ahead.
I mean, it's the only reason why I'm still on Facebook.
Tell everybody about it.
All right. Well, it's just a woodworking and maker community. Look located in state. We have about 1,350 or so members, and we are all on Facebook, pretty active on Facebook. Actually, Ken Moon is our most active person on.
Yeah, Ken.
That's my boy.
That's not a good thing.
That's not a good thing.
That's really not a way to sell the Facebook page.
That's true. And in fact, we need to get rid of Ken Moon. No,
Hey, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's just a great place to be on Facebook. If you live in the southern states, look us up. We'll get you in there. But we keep the politics and religion out, and we just we stay on topic.
Yeah, since Patrick's out there just blowing up the chat with Chad from Mancrafting, and since he's out there blowing it up, I would just like to say, see, Chad, I got one of Mancrafting's mug that says simplywoodencreations.com.
Yeah, mine's back there on that wall.
Yeah, so I actually have 2 or 3 of these. I think that he made me. So Patrick, okay, I understand Chad from Mancrafting. He is absolutely fantastic. He's wonderful. But do you have a Patrick's Woodshop mug?
He probably does.
So I've got one from Simply Wooden Creations, and then I have to say I have the.
He's got 2.
Yeah, I got 2 of them. So, but yeah, as soon as I seen that he made these, for you, the Southern Woodworking, and I seen it, he posted it on Facebook or whatever, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta have one of those. So I immediately PM'd him and I said, dude, I want one of those. And he goes, well, I'll probably bring a couple of extra ones from Atlanta. And I'm like, okay, it's mine.
Put my name on it.
Put my name on it. I want one of them. So when we were in Atlanta this year, he walked up and said, did you still want this one? I said, oh, hell yeah, I want one of those, man, dude.
Yep, so, and Missy got the other one.
Yeah.
So, any other questions in the chat room or from you guys?
Jim Bashir said, I'm a Mancrafting hoarder. Yes, yeah, man. Chad does. I'm gonna tell you, if you are interested, and I'll just go ahead and plug him while we're at it. If you're interested in one of these, now these are not the Yeti. These are the actual the Walmart brand. What is it? Ozark Trail or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are not the Yeti, but he can do this or the Yeti. It doesn't matter which one he does.
Mine works great. I don't have any problems with it at all.
His I want to tell you, I mean, I don't know if I can get in there close enough for y'all to get the detail on this. But that simply that goes across the top, that's not easy to get and get right. Okay? And you look at that. I mean,
if you go watch videos, he talks about how when he first started doing them, the little intricate portions he was having trouble with. Now he's doing it a different way.
So
I think he lasers them now instead of doing the sticker.
So that is like, as soon as I seen that, I'm like, that is some incredible work from
do that again.
hey, go get a motel room.
Yeah, get a room for crying out
loud.
Jeez. We all seen that, by the way.
It just came out of nowhere.
Well, tell her y'all need a motel room.
Well, tell her to call my place.
So, Zach, you were going to show something. What you want to show?
Oh no, I was just showing off mine.
Oh yeah, look at that. Look at the detail in that. That is just awesome, man. Yeah, Chad from Mancrafting, he is fantastic.
Does Chad do the 20-ounce mugs, the smaller ones?
I think anything that's metal, he can do for you.
It holds 2 beers. That's how I know
it. Yeah. Yeah, if it's metal, he can do it. Yeah, Go ahead, Zach.
No, I was just saying, well, cool. I mean, I don't know if there's any other questions, but
nope. I don't see any out there. So if y'all have any more questions for Zach about his teardrop trailer build,
I should have a new episode coming out hopefully soon. Since
Okay.
I started working on this one, my goal is to get the sync into that, and then I'll have that video out once.
Now, what you posted on Facebook the other day about talking about finding. No, but you said that was for a table, 5 by 10 foot plywood.
Yeah, that was actually. Yeah, we can tell that story real quick if you want. I have a local sign shop that wanted. They just moved, and they wanted a. First, they wanted a 5 by 16 foot table. I said, well, do you mind splitting it up into 2? And they said, yeah, we can do 2 5 by 8s. So I gave them a quote on that, kind of thinking through how I wanted to build it. And mostly it's just 2 by material. And then they came back and said, what about a 5 by 10 to try to save on the price? Yeah, I was trying to figure out like how am I going to get a 5 foot by 10 foot table. So the best thing I can do is just get 2 5 by 5 what do you call it, Baltic birch plywood
and put them together. Now there is check around. They're a sign shop.
Yeah, they can get bigger stuff. They have a membrane, like a cutting surface membrane that they're going to put on the top. So when they're cutting all of the vinyl and stuff like that, so that's going to be one solid piece. They just need me to make it perfectly flat so that they can put that on top.
Yeah, because I remember when we built some years ago, back when I worked for the fire department, we wanted to make a huge, and when I'm talking about huge, the sleigh was 6 or 8 foot long, and with the Santa sitting in them was over 8 foot high, and then all the reindeer. And I had a friend of mine that worked for a sign company, and he was able to get 5 by 10 foot pieces of plywood. Yeah, for the signs. And what they did is when they took the signs down and didn't need those pieces anymore, they were going to actually throw them away. He brought me like, I don't know, 8 or 10 pieces of 5 by 10 foot pieces of plywood, 3/4 of an inch thick.
Wow.
To the station and dropped them off, and we cut out all the reindeer and the Santa and everything. The Santa sitting in the sleigh. The Santa was one piece, and we bolted him to the sleigh, so to speak, and then each individual reindeer was cut out, and we set them up. I designed it where one reindeer was down low, and we escalated them up so all the way to the end, and then Rudolph was on the front, and we put a red light bulb in his nose. I have some pictures. I have to go back and dig it out, but this thing stretched over the entire 3-bay fire station, which was I don't know. The station had to be 60 foot long, I'm gonna think.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a bowling alley.
Yeah, so it went. Started at one end, went all the way to the other end. That we cut these things myself. I designed it and everything, and then I had 3 or 4 other people help me and to cut them all out and put them up. And the first year we put it up, then everybody. It was even in the newspaper. Wow. I've got the article from the newspaper that said that the fire department put up this display of Santa Claus and the reindeer taking off. We took, how they have the lights that run, I don't know how you say it, that run
Christmas lights?
Yeah, they're Christmas lights. Yeah, they're Christmas lights, but they look like they're running, and we use that for the rain.
Oh, cool. Gotcha.
So they would run between the reindeer and run back.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, for the rains and everything.
Like a marquee.
Yeah, like a marquee sign. Yeah, it would run back and forth between the reindeer as it was going. Yeah, we had it was so popular. What really, really upset me was I had left and moved on from that station, and I told the guys when I left, I said, if y'all ever decide that you don't want that anymore, I'm leaving it with y'all. I want it. So if you ever decide you don't want it, because every year they would put up in storage above the you know, the office and everything. It was
Sure.
a big metal building, had about 5 or 6 foot up above, and we stored it up there. I said, if y'all ever decide you don't want it anymore, let me know. I'll come and get it. I want it. Don't destroy it. Don't get rid of it. I want it. And so a few years passed and whatever, and I went over there and was saying, hey, are y'all not putting up display this year? And they said, oh, no, they chunked it last year.
Oh.
Yeah, and I went like, do what?
No,
They said,
that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, they said, yeah, they got rid of it last year because they weren't putting it up anymore. And I was like, so I had called the chief of the station, the volunteer chief of the station at that time, and let's just put it this way: it was not a friendly conversation because I reminded him that I spent a lot of work on that, and so did others, and that I had told you if you ever needed to get rid of it, just let me know and I'd come and get it. And yeah, it was not a friendly conversation. I don't think I told him one time that I loved him. So,
hey, Paul, you mentioned that whole inner section of that trailer a while earlier in the conversation.
Yes.
So I've been back and forth on Facebook and on Instagram trying to find a blade to cut that stuff up, because I didn't want to use just a regular cutoff wheel because they're more dangerous. So I wanted to find like a reciprocating saw blade. Yep. And I went through what was it, 5 or 6 just to cut it out. I went metal bits, like Diablo metal bits. So today I went out and bought a 3-pack for $30, a 3-pack of the carbide tip Diablo bits. So here is after cutting up the whole thing. That's what the carbide tip looks like. Huh. It's complete. They're shredded. They're completely shredded. Yeah. But I cut up that whole thing with one blade and one battery in my DeWalt cordless reciprocating saw.
The ones you were using before, were they those white bimetal blades?
They were metal blades, but they were Diablo, and they weren't the carbide tip version.
Oh, okay.
So if you guys are looking for blades, I will recommend these $10 blades. They are expensive, but I cut a crap ton of metal today with it. Probably somewhere around 150, 200 cuts with it today.
Wow.
And they still, I mean, it will still cut if you kind of hold it on the very edge, because that's the only thing that's still got a little bit of teeth left.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just quick little recommendation for you guys.
Now, where did you find those at? Like
just Home Depot. Yeah. They're expensive. They're $11 a piece, or you buy a 3-pack for $30.
Yeah. No. But if they make the cuts, it's.
I was very impressed that I was able to cut all those with that, as well as using one battery on the DeWalt reciprocating saw. That's the FlexVolt version.
Yeah.
I didn't have to charge it once.
That's good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. All right, guys. Any more questions for Zach?
Well, I got to let everybody know something. I meant to tell you before the show. Today is the last day you can buy CDs from Best Buy. Just to let you know.
You can buy what?
The last day to buy CDs is today from Best Buy. They're discontinuing them.
Wow.
People still buy CDs?
CDs. You're talking about as in music CDs and stuff like that?
Right.
I just had to let you know that before the show goes off.
I mean, at first it was Toys R Us, now CDs. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Shane Cole is going to get a bass boat, and look, Shane, I built you a bass boat, man. Go back to I built you a whole fleet, man. Look.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. I mean, I could not believe that Toys R Us went down the tubes. I just couldn't believe it.
They didn't evolve.
Yeah, I found that hard to believe, but that's kind of sad.
You have to evolve. I was surprised that somebody didn't buy the rights to the name and just, like Circuit City, where they turned it into an online store only.
Right.
They're supposed to auction that off next week. The name and the Jeffrey Giraffe logo.
Yeah, but my point is they should have been All right. I blame the upper echelon of that company for being too stupid to foresee things. When they saw Amazon come on board and what Amazon was doing, they should have went either with the Amazon direction and followed them through, or went with their own kind of online store and for competition, because
they screwed the pooch when they bought the company years ago for like $4 billion. They never recovered from that debt.
I know that's what I said. Whoever was in charge of that just wasn't smart.
Horrible management. Horrible.
Is it the same people that manage Blockbuster?
Could have been.
Well, I couldn't believe
you know what's funny about that? Somebody just the other day posted that they had a Blockbuster video card. One of my friends, and she posted, said, "Look what I found in one of my old wallets," and it was a Blockbuster video card. And I was thinking, like, oh my God, yeah, I used to have one of those. You remember
two family videos here, one in Cherokee County, one down in Spartanburg.
Yeah, you remember Be Kind Rewind? Rewind your VHS. And then now we've done totally away with VHS, and now we're all like SD cards. And hey, I thought it was an improvement. One of my video cameras, when we went from VHS, went down to the the little mini tapes. What do they call them?
Micro cassette.
Well, it wasn't micro cassette, but anyway, what it was actually it was 7. Huh? No. It was a tape. But the problem with the tapes is if you, even with the micro ones, I've got some of them. I'll have to just dig them out and find them. And I still have the camera. The camera works great. If you put an hour's worth of video on that tape, in order to bring it over to your computer, you have a patch cord, and it will bring it into. I can put it on my computer to this day, and it'll bring it over with the software. But it takes you an hour to get that tape to run to record it back onto your
one-to-one.
Is that the size you're talking about?
There you go.
Oh my gosh!
That's it. That's it. Thank you, Paul.
Don't put that near a magnet.
Yep, that was it.
Not like this. Not
Yep,
like this.
That's it. Exactly.
I can't believe you guys still have that junk.
Yeah. I've got boxes upon boxes of those.
I do too. I've got tons of those.
No,
and
put it out in the curb, they'll take it away for you.
I've got a little machine.
You think I'm kidding?
Yeah,
Oh my God,
I'm trying to transcribe those over to my computer to burn them onto CD or DVD so that we can have them for, for the family or whatever. But my point is 1 hour's worth of video takes you 1 hour to get it onto your computer.
Right.
Yeah, I've been doing that slowly but surely, moving them from those on DVDs, and it's not a fast process.
No, it's not. It's not a fast. And screw up, and you got to start all over. So if we're 45 minutes into, if you were 45 minutes,
3 different kinds right there.
Yeah,
How about this, boys and girls?
Ooh, now you're dating yourself, Al.
Oh yeah.
I don't have to hear the show, but my sister's got my dad's collection of Super 8 films.
Oh,
she's getting transferred to digital. So.
But screw up at the end of that 1 hour, like you're at 7 or 49 minutes, and guess what? You start the process all over again.
It's kind of like 3D printing.
Yeah, it is. But I've got a ton of that stuff that we've been trying to transcribe over to DVD on the computer, and I'm slowly working at it. I'll bring them in one day and stick one in and start bringing it over and everything. Just walk away and come back. So, oh yeah, the 8-track tape players. Who remembers the old
8-track tape players? I remember those. I had a Ranger Mini 8 in my first car.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we're at the end. Thank you, Mr. Zach, for being on here tonight.
Wait, we need a workshop confession here.
Yeah. You know what workshop confession is?
Nope.
Zach?
What is that?
Okay. What? Tell us something that after you did it, you went like, "What the hell did I do that for?" In other words, I'll give you a suggestion. So I was sitting there one day and I was nailing two pieces of wood together that they were 3/4 of an inch thick, so it was 1.5 inches. But I had a 2-inch nail in my nail gun and shot them, and I was holding it. So it went through and into my hand. I'm like, "Ow!"
Yeah, that would hurt.
Yeah. So have you ever done anything like that? A woodshop confession?
I've never shot myself in the hand. No.
No, we're saying anything that you've done that was kind of considered kind of a dumbass.
I have grabbed a hot weld.
Tell us the experience about that.
That's always fun.
Yeah, tell us that. Tell us that experience.
Well, I mean, I've been doing a lot of welding lately with the Teardrop trailer, and I'm no pro at it by any means. I do a lot of grinding when I'm done with it, but yeah, it turns out after you're done grinding, it doesn't cool it down at all.
No.
So
you got a cheap grinder then.
Yeah, there you go.
It is a great feeling to just stick those two pieces of metal and you know that they're stuck well too. It doesn't matter what they look like.
So what did you do?
Yeah.
You grinded it and then reach up and grabbed the hole up?
Well, to grab it and spin it. Yeah. So like, you got 4 corners, so you grab it and you spin it, and then yeah.
Donna Presley out in the chat says, "How about building a camper where you can't move it out?"
There you go, Donna.
That's a good one, Donna.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one, Donna. I have to admit.
What kind of welder do you use, Jack?
We all just ignored the obvious. That's why.
Yeah. I'm using a Hobart 140. It's a 110 volt, just simple welder, nothing crazy.
Just arc welder, stick welder, or
it's a MIG, flux core.
Flux, yeah, but it's flux core, not.
I'm not even using gas. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not using gas. Yeah.
I've actually built a good part of the bumper on my truck with that welder, and now I've gone back and now I'm doing a lot of work on that trailer with it as well.
Yeah, actually, those are damn good welders. I don't care what they say about the flux core.
Yeah,
I bought a Harbor Freight when we were working on race cars several years ago, and we would take everything off of the door frame, including the outside skin, and then remove all the hinges and everything, set it back into place, and then tack weld around the edges of it to hold it for the race car, and so that we could skin it back over with aluminum for the outside body. And though that Harbor Freight welder, flux core welder, that thing worked fantastic. You can't stick weld it; the metal's too thin.
I've got one, Russ.
Yeah, it worked
It's
fantastic. If I finally threw it away about a year ago when I tried to use it to weld something, the mechanism on the inside that fed the wire through finally gave out and wouldn't feed it. But I paid like
$99, right?
Yeah, I paid like $150 or dollars for that thing, and it worked for me for like 10, 12 years. And
a helmet is $50. The welder's $100.
Yeah. And it welded, I don't know, we welded on that thing for the doors all the time building race cars. I mean, it was fantastic. So
Russ, I got a good confession for you.
Okay.
I just thought of one finally.
Okay.
Even though that one was a good one. Have you guys heard of a drag knife for your CNC?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I 3D printed one that you use a roller blade bearing for it, just like all the fidget spinners that are out there, and you would slide a sleeve in there, then just use a standard razor blade for it to drag on.
Right.
Well, I pushed the mechanism too far, and I wanted to pull it back out slowly. And when I went to go pull it out, it released itself, and the whole the corner of the knife went into my palm. It was brand new knife. So
I know how painful that could be, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I ran into the kitchen where my girlfriend was. I was like, "Yeah, I fucked up."
Yeah.
Ooh.
Did she faint?
Okay, Zach's the second person in the entire history
Yes.
of the Let's Talk Shop with Russ to drop the F-bomb.
Sorry about that. It was for a good reason.
You know who the first one was?
Mancraft.
Anybody on the panel know?
Oh, shit. Who was it?
Come on.
I know
Sterling
it.
Davis?
No.
Sterling
Mike
would do
Fulton.
something like that.
Mike Fulton.
Mike Fulton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gee, that surprises me.
Mike Fulton dropped the F-bomb on the show.
And he's such a good guy, too.
Yes,
And it's flipping great.
And yeah, he dropped it just as pretty as could be. And I was sitting there going, I was like laughing hysterical. You know, it's like,
Yeah, I remember it originally went right by all of us, too.
Yeah. No, it didn't
took us
go by
off.
me. What it did was he was saying, when I asked him about the Woodshop Confessions, he was talking about he had this board and he needed to drill a hole in it. And he had a brand new like Forstner bit. And he said, I put the Forstner bit up and I put it in the wood and I started drilling and it went right through into my effing hand. I was
You caught it, but the rest of us just sat there and it went right by us.
Yeah, and I went, beep. I said, well, I guess that was a little too late.
You know what, though? In Mike's defense, if he drilled into his hand, he should get a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them were into the palm of our hand. Go figure.
Yeah. He went right into the palm of his hand because he had posted, if you go back and look through his Facebook stuff, he had posted about he had a patch over his palm where he drilled into his hand or whatever.
Dang.
Anyway, that's pretty did you have to have stitches? Did you have to have stitches?
No, it was so clean of a cut, it just healed right back up.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Usually those you can put super glue over them, or you can use the 2P10 and that works great.
Until you leave the cap off, and then it doesn't work great anymore.
Yeah, just 2P10 is the fantastic super glue. Let me tell you, from FastCap, that's some fantastic stuff right there. So, all right, guys, we're going to get out of here. I appreciate y'all all being out there and watching. Thank you very, very, very much. Dave Hart, Inspired Woodworks, Matt Piehl. I don't know. Piehl? How do somebody pronounce that for me? Matt
Piehl?
Piehl.
Matt
Piehl.
All right, Matt Piehl. Thank you for being out there. He's
Sorry,
kind of
Matt.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, Matt. If anybody's going to screw up pronunciation of a name, you can guarantee it's going to be me. I'm the world's worst. So, for Michelle Marcoux, for years I called him Michael. So you
I
can't
haven't seen Michelle tonight.
Yeah, he was out there. He was out there earlier. Yeah, he was.
Oh, bonsoir, Michelle.
Yeah, he was out there earlier. So anyway, Becky, Texas Woodshop, she's been out there. Shane from Shane's Hobby Shop, he's been out there. I was going to say that earlier that Shane, I saw Shane.
That's why I got him the little boat.
Yeah, yeah. So Shane's Hobby Shop's out there. Good to see you, Shane. So thank you very much for being here tonight, Zach. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And then thank you to Brenda, and her name's not Donna.
Not Debbie.
Debbie. And thank you to Chris. Now I'm going to start laughing. You're going to make me mess up. Thank you to Jim and Katie and John and Kenlon and Al and Paul. And I got everybody's name right. So I think it's now time for us to get the heck out of here. And there's only one thing we need to do, and that is just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Bye, y'all.
God bless everyone.
Bye, Chris.
Remember, you don't have to go home, but you can stay here. Bye-bye.